Welcome back to We Are Tottenham TV, the only place to be for your pre-match pump-ups. And what a game it is today. Our whole season hinges on tonight's game, and we have a super-duper panel, as always, for you. We've got my partner in crime, as always, sitting with me, Jimbo, and we've got making his debut on We Are Tottenham TV tonight, young Harry Scarf. So, Jimbo, first of all, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm very good, thank you. Looking forward to the game. Looking forward to going away with Germany and smashing them for the second time.
Let's hope so. Harry, welcome to the channel. How are you doing?
Thank you so much. I'm doing very well, thank you. It's great to be here. Looking forward to it. Nerves starting to kick in now as well, but looking forward to getting into this one.
Yes, the nerves are definitely kicking in. And in the background, and hoping that the audio has been sorted out, we've got the man, the myth, the legend, leader Dorset Spur. How are you, sir?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, we can. We can hear you, Lee. You okay?
Yeah, I've had to switch to my phone. Sorry, for some reason my laptop is not working for either my headphones, my microphone, nothing. So I don't know what's going on. There you go.
Oh. I hope that's not a sign of things to come with Spurs. Let's hope that that's all the bad stuff out the way early, so Spurs go on to a comfortable win. But big up to everyone watching. Please do make sure you smash a like for Ben and Sim, just to let them know we're doing a good job. Ben is doing the watch along after this with Brian Daigle, and Sim is in Germany. So big up to Sim. But Jimbo, look.
Yeah.
Frankfurt going in big favourites tonight. Why are you laughing?
I just got a message off Bobby Kay, and he said, "I noticed it's an all-white, panel today."
Bobby Kay, you're naughty. Frankfurt beat Heidenheim. I hope I said that right. 3-0 at the weekend. Third straight win for Eintracht Frankfurt at home. They're unbeaten at home in the Europa League. They're sitting third in the Bundesliga. They're going to come to us, or should I say, we're going to go to them full of absolute confidence today. Deep down in that dark heart of yours, Jimbo, do you see us actually being able to beat these guys?
Yeah, it's all right saying they're third in the league. Okay, they're third in the league. They're 20-odd points behind. So it's not like they're 3 points behind. They're 20-odd points behind. So, yeah, of course we can go and beat them. They didn't look nothing special. 1 or 2 players they've got that are really good players. But, of course we can beat. We should have been coming up here 4-1 up.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. It's but some monkey nuts, though.
If Tottenham play their game, we'll win. There's no argument about it.
I like it. Harry, obviously, like I say, Frankfurt full of confidence at the minute, playing well. How are you feeling about the game today?
Not too good, if I'm honest with you. I like to tell myself that I am, but I'm not. As I said to you earlier, the nerves starting to really kick in now. I think it's going to be tough. I think they showed in that first leg that they're a quality side, but having that difference of being in front of their home fans, I think could be massive. It's going to be really hard for us. We know our record away from home in Europe. It's going to be tough. And yeah, these are the type of games we've crumbled over pressure over the years, including this season. So it's going to be really tough. But I think, regardless of how we feel about Ange, about these group of players, about the owners, etc., I think we've all got to get behind the team tonight, part that to one side, back Ange and the boys, and do everything we can to hopefully get a result, because you can salvage our season, which is massive. It feels strange to say, but it could be a memorable season despite how bad we've been in the league. And first step is getting through tonight, and it's not going to be easy, but there's a possibility we can do it. Get through Frankfurt, and it is quite a favourable route to win the competition. I think we've got the easier route, which is great. But no, I'm be kidding myself if I said that I'm confident tonight.
Yeah, I think we're all hanging on to that little bit of hopium somewhere, except probably Jim, who just always thinks we're going to beat everyone.
Hanging on to any hopium, Kate. At the end of the day, we're a better team than them. If we play our football, we will win. And all this that they haven't lost there for so long, that doesn't mean anything. This is a one-off game to get through to the semi-finals of the Europa Cup.
Yeah, it's true.
And they need to go out and do it, and I think they will.
Lee, coming to you, Ange has come out and said that it won't salvage our season if we were to win the Europa League, but it would give us something to sort of be able to achieve something. What are you thinking about tonight? I know it's all very doom and gloom and toxic in the Tottenham fan base at the minute, but is there any part of you that thinks, we can go and win this tonight?
I think Jim's right. Me and Jim should do a podcast together. We could be the deluded duo, because I honestly do think that this team that we've got, this squad that we've got, is capable of beating anyone. Apart from maybe some of the really, really top quality. I think there's players in there, and I think there's the opportunity. The problem, I think, is do the players actually want it enough? Are they strong enough mentally and physically to actually put a run together to prove that they deserve to be there? And I think that's the issue. We've seen this team beat teams. We've seen them beat teams comprehensively. We've seen them play decent football at times, not for a long time, unfortunately, but we have seen it happen. So these players don't just turn into crap players overnight. There's got to be other issues at play here, and that's my issue with it. To be honest with you, everything's really, really toxic, and I'll try really, really hard to be positive and to hold on to the things that I love about my football team and all the rest of it. I wish I was out there. To be honest with you, the idea of being out there would be fantastic. Win, lose or draw, I just love the being out there with the away fans, with your family or whatever it is. There's nothing like it, and that's what the football's all about. And these players need to remember that.
Yeah, that's so true. I'd love to be out there as well, to be fair. I did hear, I think it was Sim or someone saying that they hope that by the end of the game we're all waving our Frankfurters around. Take that as you will. My Frankfurt won't be going anywhere regardless. But Jim, I think from the first leg we can take, I don't want to disrespect Frankfurt, but I think they didn't show that much. I think if we can keep Ekatike quiet, there wasn't that much that concerned me. I mean, like you say, the second half, we could have walked away from that game 4-1 up. It was more us not finishing our chances. I mean, do you agree? Do you think he's their key man?
I mean, if you look at some of the games this season, right, we've had some terrible games. I've seen what people are writing in the chat, but we've had some good games this season as well. We smashed City. Everybody said that we'd lose that game. We went and smashed them. We smashed Villa. When this team wants to play, they can play, so we know what they can do. So there is no reason, Kate, why if they don't play their football, that we won't walk away with a win tonight. And a convincing win as well. We're a better team than them, right? Someone put in there, well, they're third in the Bundesliga and we're 15th or 17th, whatever we are. It doesn't matter. We are a better team than them, right? If you're going to compare the Bundesliga to the Premier League, there's no comparison. We're a better team than them and we should win tonight. Harry, you raised your eyebrows. Tell me why.
I don't think we'll win comfortably. That's what it is. I agree with you in terms of the gap between the Bundesliga and the Premier League. I just think that us will make it tough. I just can't see any situation that we go there and win comfortably. I can see us nicking a win, extra time on that, but I don't think we win comfortably. I don't think we're maybe as good as maybe you say. I could be completely wrong though. I just think, yeah, Man City was really good, but I think it's one individual performance. You're right though, it is one game tonight. You just don't know with us. I thought first leg we were really good, but I just don't think that we can do it over 90 minutes. That we can do it, half an hour period. I think we'd be really on it. But I think we've seen with this team and even with individual players that it just can't be sustained over 90 minutes. And Man City was a rare game like that. I think we played a Man City side. They're in a poor place, but that was a good performance generally over 90 minutes. But our problem this season has been doing it for two halves, as well as just turning up week in, week out. So it's two separate problems there. So I'm not too confident. I wish you have your optimism though. So please send some my way. It'd be fantastic. Hope you're right.
Yeah, we all do, Jimbo. We all hope you're right. It doesn't happen that often where you are right, but we hope you're right. Lee, there's a lot of talk. Obviously, Sonny didn't make it. He's got a foot injury. There's also been a lot of talk that Tottenham don't deal with hostile atmospheres. We haven't won in Germany. I think we've won once. We've lost 6 of the last 7 trips to Germany, Tottenham. I hate to give you all these horrible facts and stats because, they're not very nice reading. But do you think the loss of Sonny is going to make a difference?
To be honest with you, I don't think Sonny's been playing particularly well this season. I think he's been, called out an awful lot by fans, and individually at times he can do something, and he is one of those players that you just never know. He could pull something out of the bag, absolutely. But over 90 minutes, I don't think he's done enough to be classed as a miss. There's been lots of people calling for him to be dropped a lot of the time, and now all of a sudden, because he's out, everyone's saying he's a massive miss. And I'm like, well, make your mind up. Either he is or he isn't. For me, I'd love to have the captain there. I'd love to have him on the bench to come on if he can. But if he's injured, he's injured. And the fact that he's been playing with an injury strikes me as crazy. Because he's not been playing very well. Is that because he's carrying this injury? I just don't get it. And especially when you've got other options, you've got Odebear, you've got Tell, who's chomping at the bit to play games. To me, it's a fool's errand. I think Sonny being out, he is a loss because of what he can do. But has he been doing it enough for me to be going, God, that's a big problem for us? I don't think it is.
Yeah. I think, Jim, you said similar when the news broke, actually. But massive big up to DJ Samuel. Been a member for 32 months. So big up to you, you absolute legend. But yeah, Jim, like I say, you did say at the time, Sonny, it's not. I don't like to say it's not a massive loss. I think we're miss. No, I don't even. I can't even lie. Sonny's been poor this season. Go on.
It could be a blessing in disguise, Kate. It could be a blessing in disguise where he's forced to. He's not playing, so he's forced to play someone else, and they could go in and have the game of their life. But I don't see. I can see people saying in the chat that they think we're going to lose and we haven't got a chance and we're not as good as them. I don't know what planet they're on. We're a better team than Frankfurt, and home away it doesn't matter. We're a better team than them. So if we play our football that we know they can play, we will walk away from this game and go into the semi-final.
The team is out. We've got Vicario in goal, Pedro Porro, Romero, Van der Ven, and Udogie. Amazingly, Romero is captain after the performance against Wolves. Never expected him to ever be captain again. Bentancur, Bergvall, and Madders in the middle. So Kulu doesn't walk straight into the team. And then we've got Johnson, Solanke, and Tell up top with Austin, Whiteman, Spence Davis, Danso, Gray, Basuma, Sarr, Kulu, Moore, Odebear, and Richarlison on the bench. Harry, what's your first thoughts on that lineup? Were you expecting to see anything different?
No, not really. I'd say overall I'm really happy with that. I don't think there's any real surprise in there. If I'm being honest with you, I was hoping we'd see Odebear over Johnson. I really do like Johnson, but I thought he was ineffective in that first leg. Odebear, I think, offers you something different. I think he's been really good as well recently, both for club and country, with France under 21s as well. But no, I think that's a good team. As I said, there's no real surprise in there. I think Udogie is always going to come back in for Spence who started against Wolves. The doggy, I think, has done really well since coming back from injury. So I think the team kind of picked itself. The only discussion was the forward line. Do you go with Richarlison, who's got a goal? He's a confidence player. Do you stick with Solanke? No goals in 11. So that for me was a 50-50, but you probably would go, trusting Ange to back Solanke, his main man, after these comments as well in the week. So no surprise. Would I have done a couple of things differently? Yeah, probably. But, Ange's the manager and we'll see whether it works out or not. So it's a good team. And where Jimbo is right is that team is strong enough to at least have a real good go at Frankfurt and really expose them. There's no reason we should be getting, for example, rolled over tonight or outplayed. It should be none of that. That team's good enough to take them on. I do agree with that.
Bobby, I've just seen your comment. No Spence, arguably the most important game of the season. He leaves out one of our best players. If we lose, there is justifying keeping Ange in my eyes. No justifying, I assume you mean. What I would say is I was one of the people who said we've got to start Spence, but then George was saying to me, if you don't start Spence and Porro or Udogie, one of them starts flagging, Spence can play either side. So it does kind of make sense to not start him because then you've got the choice of which side you bring him on. But Lee, what about you? I thought, if I'm honest, I thought Richarlison would start tonight because Solanke can't hit a barn door at the minute. But anything that you expected different?
I don't think I expected anything different. If I'm being really honest, but I do agree. I think Spence is a miss. I think he's a really good player. But like you said, if Udogie's not having a great game or Porro's not having a great game, then you've got the option of him going either way. And I know they can kind of chop and change, but he can be really useful as an impact sub as well because he's fast, he's technical, and he can kind of run up players. And I do think that Udogie has played fairly well recently since coming back. I thought he had a good game the other week. So for me, I think he deserves probably an opportunity with Spence playing at the weekend. Porro, I think, is probably the one who can put a ball in, like he can cross a ball. He's probably one of the only ones who I'd really bank on putting a decent ball in to give Solanke something. Again, Richarlison, I think, obviously coming back from injury, he's got a goal. He's probably the sort of player you want to bring on towards the end if you're needing to grind it out, maybe to do a little bit of shithousery and break up the play and annoy people, because I think he's really good at that sort of thing. So I think he's a good option to have for later on. But I think the only one for me that I would have really kind of gone with, I personally would have gone with Odebear over Johnson, because I like the way he runs at people when he makes them commit. So yeah, for me. But again, Johnson arrives late at the back post if Tell puts the ball across. You never know. He's the sort of player who would get on the end of it, and that's again something that he's been doing that not a lot of other players have been. So, and I think the bench is strong enough. It gives us other options. With more on there, Kulu I think will come in and play a part as well. So, I'm confident that the team is good enough. It's whether they want it enough, whether they really want to do the right thing and play the right sort of football for us.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Jimbo, we did speak and say about possibly Kulu coming straight in. I think we've massively missed Kulu, and I think a lot of people expected Madders to be dropped and perhaps Kulu to start. Do you think he's just going to use him as kind of like super sub because he's not fully match fit yet?
Look, we got Kulu, Spence, and Odebear that can come on. That's three guys that can make an impact. So the team doesn't surprise me that he started this team and see how we get on. But I don't think people have a right to moan about Johnson because he's putting the ball in the back of the net for us. He seems to get in the right place at the right time, and we need someone on the pitch that can do that. And he is our top goal scorer. So I'm glad to see him on there. But look, Kate, this game, right? This is the be all and end all. This game is going to be won and lost, right? Is how much our players want it. The first 20, 25 minutes at home, I thought we were useless and it didn't look like they wanted it. And then all of a sudden they kicked in and they seem to realise this is a quarter-final of a European Cup. If they start this game like it's a quarter-final of a European Cup, I've got no worries whatsoever that we'll walk away winners. And that's just that is down to the players now, to do their job.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, anybody can say anything about Ange. He's not the one on the pitch. These players are on the pitch. If they want it, we'll win. We'll see if they want it.
I think there's some fairness in that. Look, we've got 711 watching and 72 likes, so I feel like this is a Timo Werner type ratio and possibly even worse. So can we smash a like, please? I'm going to let you take this one, Harry. Do you think our team honestly play for the manager, or do you think they play as a solo artist without caring anymore?
It's a good question. I don't think our problem is a lack of effort, if I'm honest with you, because there's a lot of times that we've struggled throughout the season and Postecoglou's been under pressure. We managed to find that result, find that big performance. I think that Frankfurt first leg proved that they still are playing for the manager, still are caring about the occasion. I just think that the relationship's fractured for sure with Ange and the fans. I think he's starting to lose those core away fans, which is massive. And of course, there'll be some individuals I think we know that maybe don't want to be here anymore, or they're looking to depart in summer, their heads elsewhere. You're always going to get that, I think, at any club. You do see that. But I think generally, collectively, I think they still look up to Postecoglou, or to be honest, I think they're just interested in their own performance. So I think the majority will care, but I can understand why people ask, because there's, we see a lot of people not putting in 110%. So I do understand that, but generally, I do think they are playing for him. And I think like tonight's game, I think it doesn't matter the players' thoughts on Postecoglou, our thoughts on Postecoglou. It's about getting through and getting the job done. But it's a very good question to raise. But I think tonight we park the managerial discussion debate at least until 10:30 tonight, and just do everything we can to get behind the team, because it's really important for our season. Whether you want Ange in or not, whether we win the Europa League or not, all irrelevant. It's about getting through tonight, because our season can still be saved. And whether you want to, what I can't get my head around, Kate, though, is that people. There's some fans, and of course, this not necessarily the majority, but some fans that want Postecoglou gone will want us to go out tonight so he can go. I just can't get my head around that. Even if you do want him to go, you can't want us to lose. That he's going too far. A lot of people saying, could it be Good Friday tomorrow? And I just can't even understand that. And that's just crazy. But no, I think let's get behind the team tonight. We have those discussions maybe after this game and at the end of the season, but it's about tonight.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you know what, Kate? Do you know what, Harry? He's absolutely 100% spot on there. It doesn't matter what any of us think of anything. It's these players, right, should be playing for the fans, the ones that spend their money home and away, the ones that buy Sky to watch it. Buy all the kits, and there's players on there that people worship. They should be out there tonight, no matter how much they like Ange or don't like Ange, and give 1,000% for the fans. And the fans deserve it.
Awesome.
Yeah, I saw Johnny Hamay on the aeroplane going out. He goes home and away every match, and they need to be putting in a performance. And I agree with what Harry said. It's not about your manager, where you stand on it. I can't ever want my team to lose, no matter what. And I pray with everything that we get through tonight. I'm a little bit surprised, like Lee said, about Odegaard not playing, Lee, because obviously him and Tell have played together in the French side and the youth team as well. So I was kind of looking forward to seeing how those two sort of paired up together. But look, Johnson gets a bad rap. Someone said to me the other day he's not a big game player, but he was brilliant when Nottingham Forest got promoted in that game. But I mean, what's your thoughts on the wingers that we've got out tonight?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Johnson gets a bad rap. He can only do what he can do. My biggest concern with him is that I think he's speedy and he can take players on, but I just don't see it enough. Now, whether that's because he's been told to play that way or not, I don't know, because I'd like to see him cross the ball more. But you cannot argue with his goal ratio and the fact that he arrives at the right time and he does the right things as he's asked to do. I think Postecoglou made the point about the goal that Porro scored, the back heel that Porro scored, that Johnson was where he was supposed to be at that goal, because if it didn't go to Porro, it was going to go to Johnson, and that's what they've worked on, and they're practicing that. So, for me, I think the guy gets a bit of a bad rap, and yet he's always put himself out there. He always shows for it and goes for it. And I think in the last sort of couple of games, Wolves aside, I thought he's kind of shown a little bit. He's kind of shown a little bit of hunger. There was one where he took a player on. I can't remember what game it was now, but he took a player on and he crossed the ball, and it was really, really good. I think it was the one that Son against might have been Chelsea actually, and he put a brilliant ball in, all but for a great save from their keeper. So I think he's got it in his locker to do it. it's just whether he's got the freedom maybe to play that way. So I'm happy with him. And again, the thing with Tell, I think people forget that he's barely played any football. He's come to a new country. He's played bits here and there across the front line. But he looks to me like a player who really cares, who wants to play, who wants to perform in that. He doesn't shy away from it. He fronts up to the fans and stuff. And, I don't think you can ask any more than that. I want those players to be able to kind of show for us and to really face the fans when it's not going good and take it on board. I don't want all the sound bites and all that nonsense. I want them to actually hear what we're saying. Like Jim said about, play for the fans. If you don't like the manager, that's fine. I've worked for many a manager I don't like, but I still put effort in for my own benefit, for my own performance in my job and stuff, and they should do the same.
Yeah, I don't understand this argument that Johnson's a tapping merchant, because if he scores from a tap-in or from a 30-yarder, it's still worth the same. It's a goal. I don't care how they go in, as long as they go in. So I just don't get that argument. I think everybody looks for a scapegoat, and Johnson's often one of them. But like you say, he can only do what he can do. Jim, go on. You're Johnson's fan, aren't you?
You look at his last two goals. He took them absolutely fantastic, especially that second goal. That second goal he took unbelievable, just along the ground in the corner. He's more than what people make out. I'm a big fan of his. He's our top scorer. So how can we not like him?
Yeah.
People say he doesn't do a lot in the game. For me, you put the ball in the back of the net. What does what's his name do? What the City player? What's he do? The one who's injured. Puts the ball in the back of the net. He don't do a lot else. So if he's putting the ball in the back of the net, I'm happy. Exactly that.
When I look at our stats, Harry, we've scored 21 goals, conceded 12 in the Europa League. Frankfurt have scored 21 goals, conceded 13. They've got 52.7% possession. We're on average 55. They've got an 84% passing completion rate. We've got 86. We're very evenly matched, right? And we all know that Ekitike is their star man. Who do you expect, or who do you think needs to really step up tonight to get us over the line?
It's a good question. I think you need to look at that leadership group that have gone missing at so many times where we needed them. Prime example is last time out against Fulham, and you mentioned it earlier, Kate. Romero walking down the tunnel and then sending a 19-year-old loanee out and Matthias Tell to do the post-match interviews after. I still can't get my head around that. It does annoy me. So I look at the likes of Maddison, Romero, obviously with Son being out, and they've got to step up. It's down to them. The young players have stepped up on several occasions. They've stepped up to the table. Now it's time for others to do so. Maddison, for example, we know what he's capable of, but it's just consistency with him. We need to see a big performance from tonight, not just against the smaller teams. So that is really, really important. Romero as well, we know what he's capable of, but it does show mistakes in his game. This is a big game. We need him to perform. In his big game, last time really thinking in Europe, like AC Milan, for example, he gets sent off under Antonio Conte. We needed him. We weren't going to get back into the game anyway, but the game's got a few minutes to go, and he loses his head. So you can't have any of that tonight. So it's the senior players I look upon. Kate, in particular, though, I would say, as I said, Maddison, but also like Solanke, no goal in 11 games. There's a big opportunity to break that. I think the fullbacks will have an important role. Everyone's important. Everyone's got to step up. But there's a lot of players that have kind of stepped up all season. Bergvall, for example, in that starting 11. Now it's time for others to do so too. Yeah, exactly.
Lee, do you think, are you like me? Are you a little bit shocked that he's given Romero captaincy? I know that there's a leadership group, but Madders is on the pitch, and Romero's performance against Wolves and his attitude and everything stunk the place out. I don't know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, because once you've picked your leadership group and you've picked your pecking order, then I guess you're kind of stuck with it. And petulance and disappointment and stuff like that, you'd expect him to be upset, you'd expect him to be annoyed, especially making a mistake himself and everything else. Maybe that's just his nature. He was just really annoyed with it and didn't want to talk about it. people handle things differently, I guess. So I'm not shocked that he's the captain. I'm disappointed with his behaviour, yeah, because I think you have to be professional and so on. But my bigger thing, I echo what Harry said. For me, the biggest one who really needs to step up has got to be Maddison. I've been so disappointed with him this season because there was such a big thing about getting him in, an actual playmaker, something we've been missing for so long, a key man and all the rest of it. And yet he's being shown up week in, week out by a 19-year-old kid in Bergvall. And I think, he needs to look at himself, stop messing about with your hair, stop holding your ankle and hoping for a free kick every 2 minutes and do your job, mate. That's what, that for me, he's the key man for me. If he's on form and he starts pulling the strings in the midfield, then you've got somewhere. You've got something to work on. Because this is the problem for Solanke. Sorry to ramble on. But Solanke is getting slated for not scoring goals. But the guy's running his legs off, left, right and centre, in the centre of midfield because he's getting no service from anybody. Because, Maddison's back in the back line or out wide, fluffing his barnet or whatever. These guys need to step up and give him some service. And that's where I think Porro helps because he can put a ball in, and we know that Solanke can head a ball and all this. But how often do we put it up there for him to have a go at? And so that's my point about it. Okay, so sorry to ramble on, but, I just get frustrated with some of these situations where certain players are getting kind of picked out where I don't think they really deserve it, not as much as they get it.
Yeah, I hear you. I kind of feel that Maddison has checked out. I'm not saying it's right, but I think it's clear for everybody to see that Ange and Maddison don't get on. And I think he's tired of the system and the tactics not working. I do think he's checked out. I never wanted Maddison, Jimbo, you know this, and you were always someone who desperately wanted him in our team. But I think when he plays well, we play well. And when he plays bad, it does reflect on the whole team. Yeah. But I mean, Jimbo, you love this guy. You always wanted Maddison at Spurs. You said he was born to play for Tottenham. Can he step up? Is it still in there? Can he do it?
Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is. If you look to the games that we've won comfortably this season, it's been him that's been the man who's played really well. And you're right. When he plays well, the whole team seems to play well. So it is. If he comes on tonight and he plays well, I'm sure the others will step up. But I don't know why he drifts out of games, and he seems to disappear in games. And I think that a lot of it is to do with that. He doesn't like playing under Ange. I don't see a connection with them two. I did in the beginning, but I don't anymore. I saw Maddison the other day run over to the sideline to speak to one of the guys there, and Ange was there, and Ange never even looked at him. That was when there was a break in the play, and it just doesn't seem to be there, does it? But look, at the end of the day, if he wants to get himself another medal, a European medal, he's had an FA Cup medal. If he wants to get himself another medal, then he's got to forget everything and just play his football because he can play football. There's no argument about that. I mean, he is a good player when he's on it.
Like Adrian says, when we played Man City away, Manchester absolutely smashed it, and we need a performance
he was pulling
like
all the strings, Kate. He was the one pulling all the strings.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree. I know it's unprofessional if they check out. Listen, I know it is, but I still, a part of me doesn't blame them when this week in, week out, it's the same system that's not working. It's the same tactics that's not working. They're getting shoved out in front of a camera to say, yes, I know we've got to do better. It must literally be soul destroying, and I can't help but feel, I know it's not right, but I can kind of understand it as well.
It's soul destroying for us, so it must be for them as well.
And it must be frustrating because we can all see it's not bloody working. So I'm damn sure the players can see it's not working. But Harry, what's your thoughts on Maddison? Did you want him? Are you pleased with him? Do you think he's a flop? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I really wanted him when he was at Leicester as a player I've liked throughout his career. And when I first started watching football, he'd just left Norwich and gone to Leicester, and he was one of my favourites to watch. And you just haven't really seen enough from him ever since he joined the club, really, just in moments, in glimpses. We haven't seen the player that we signed from Leicester. You could say the same as well with Basuma from Brighton. This is frustrating. With the players we're signing, we're not seeing the best from. But Maddison is a massive game for him tonight. I wouldn't go as far to call him a flop, but he's been disappointed. He's been one of those senior players that, you know, hasn't stepped up. But in moments, he's shown what he's capable of. He can pull those strings. He's definitely capable of it. And we talk about, you know, this dream midfield that, you know, we want and next season, what would be our ideal starting 11. Yeah, Maddison has to be in that based on caliber of player, what he's capable of. But it's just, how much does he want it? How much can he live up to it? But I do agree, system's a large part of it. I don't think it suits him when you have fullbacks coming into midfield. He's looking for space, getting frustrated because you can't go anywhere where there's not an inverted fullback or a player near him. That is super frustrating, and he tries to drop deep and just no one moves to him. So I think you put Maddison in the Man City team or any team, Liverpool team, with better players around him, he thrives. There's no doubt about that. Having said that, he has to do better. He has to step up, has to command. And totally agree that Bergvall was, you know, completely outdone him, I suppose, if you like, this year. Been a lot better, more consistent, looking to make things happen. That's the thing. Maddison gets frustrated with others. And that's it. Yeah, we got a lot of moaning, a lot of pointing. Whereas Bergvall just, you know, no players driving forward or moving. He'd go and drive forward. He'd go and take on a player, go and win a free kick, get stuck in, put a leg in. Sometimes it doesn't work. It gets a yellow card. We see that passion there. So Maddison needs to do better. And I think your theory could be right, Kate, with him and Postecoglou and potentially checking out. But for me, it wouldn't be right as far as he has a contract at the club and he's got to do more. He's got to park, you know, Ange Postecoglou. Think about his career, because at the moment, you know, if he left Spurs today, I would say he's had a disappointing spell, I suppose, at Tottenham. Because he showed him in moments, as I said, in some big games as well, but just hasn't done it enough. We just, you know, had so many problems this year, breaking down like we did last year, low block teams, really small teams. And you look to him and go, we're the type of player, we signed you to break down these teams, and you haven't, you know, offered us that. So tonight is massive for him. I thought he was quite quiet in that first leg, but he's had a few good games this calendar year, but again, not enough. So we need to see a lot more from him, Kate.
Yeah, I agree. And just touching on Bergvall there, Lee, is Bergvall the player that we all thought Madders would be? Because, I mean, he's blown me away this season. I got told off last pre-match pump-up for hyping him up too much. But I think this guy is going to be an absolute superstar.
Yeah, I think he's a great player. And again, but this is our fans to a certain extent. Everyone's a scapegoat at some point, you know. The kid came in, and the amount of times I've seen people going, he's not ready, he's not good enough, you know, another kid and yet, you know, give him time, give him some confidence, give him a run of games, and look what he can do. You know, it was the same with Archie Gray. He's rubbish and all the rest of it. Now Vicario's getting a load of stick. It's just the same old story all the time. You know, we need to get behind these players and support them, sing their names, you know, rather than just constantly, you know, berate them for every mistake. If you look at the Wolves game, for instance, a lot of that was mistakes. You can't blame the system for, you know, Vicario's performance, in my view. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. So I think you have to be level-headed around it and try to be a little bit more, I don't know, I've always tried to kind of look at it without my blinkers on or without my emotion, because I do get too emotional. I know I do. And that's why I always try to wait a day before I talk about it, if you know what I mean, because I get too worked up. So, you know, but yeah, Bergvall, to your point, I think is a great prospect. And I hope he stays, and I hope he gets the support from the fans and from the club to actually, you know, come to fruition.
That's the thing, isn't it, Lee? They're young players. Bergvall's still young. We've got Gray, who's still young. We've got so many young players. And when you've got fans giving them stick and saying they're not ready, it's going to absolutely destroy their confidence. I don't think I've ever seen a fan base that's so quick to kick our players when they don't get a 5-star performance week in, week out, when they're children, really.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, Tell's 19. Udogi's only 21 or something. You know, people forget this, you know, why they might feel like they've been around a while. They're still young players trying to learn how to play football and to be the best that they can be. You know, and you know, Spence is only a young man. You know, Johnson's only a young man. You know, like, to me, these are kids, not, you know, I've got grandkids near enough their age. Do you know what I mean? And and I try to kind of think of it from that point of view. I try to think about, them and what they're learning and what's, their development as a person, let alone if I know what I was like at 17, 18, and I tell you, and I'm a totally different person to that now. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I just think, we should be getting behind these players and giving them the support that they need, rather than berating them every 5 minutes, every time they don't have a great game. But, that's
I
me.
agree. I agree with you, Lee. Jim and I, our boys, he's 19 in September. So, you look at them and I look at my son and I look at if he was to have to go out there and play in front of all them people. Yes, they get paid a fortune, but they are still young. They're just not they're just out of being a child, if you like. They've just turned into an adult. And I just think they get so much pressure put on them anyway, without the fans kicking off saying, oh, well, they're not ready, or this happened or that happened. And I think Bergval's done tremendously well. For me, he's been probably our best player this second half of the season for sure. And if that means I'm hyping him up too much, then I'm hyping away, because I think this guy is absolute class. And I think he's only going to get better as well. So let's hope we can just hang on to him. But it is getting to that time, 15 minutes till we finish, where we need to know, God, I'm dreading this, what everyone thinks the score is going to be for Frankfurt versus Tottenham tonight, who we think is going to score as well. Ben and Brian Daigle are doing the watch along in half an hour's time. So you get a 15-minute break to run, go and have a wee, go and grab a cup of coffee or a vodka. You're probably going to need a vodka, to be fair, and get ready. But Harry, I'm going to start with you, as it's your debut tonight. What do you think the score is going to be, and who do you think is going to score any goals for Tottenham?
Yeah, as I said earlier, it's going to be really tough tonight, and I hate predicting us to lose.
No.
I find it hard to see us getting a result.
Harry,
I know. I find it really tricky.
Don't do it, Harry.
It's gonna hurt. I'm afraid I'm gonna have to go 2-1 Frankfurt, but I think we play really well. Take them to extra time. I think we'll be super unlucky. I know it's horrible to say. I hate
Harry,
to do
I'll
it.
hunt you down.
The difference will be Frankfurt home fans. Yeah, I hope I'm wrong. I hope you're right. Honestly, I can't stress enough.
Who do you think is going to score?
I think Solanke will hopefully score.
Oh, that'd be nice. I mean, look, I think a lot of people are going to be predicting us to lose. Gaza, well, what we could do with Gaza tonight, it's going for us to win on penalties. John is going 4-1 Spurs masterclass from Tell. That'd be lovely. Raymond's going, we're going to win this game 2-1. Come on, you Spurs. 2-1 to the Spurs, says Tottenham Yids. 8-0 Spurs. That sounds like a Jimbo prediction. That does. Z says 3-2 Spurs. Come on, lads. I've heard a few people say 3-2 Spurs. 3-1 Frankfurt. Boo! Then we've got 3-2 win from Denzel as well. 2-2 Spurs on pens. Oh, my God. I don't know if I can cope with pens. Tell gets one. Richie gets a late goal. Adrian's going for a Spurs clean sheet. 3-0. Solanke, Tell and Madison. Aldia is going for 10-3 Spurs. Scott is going for 3-2 Spurs. Bergval, Romero, positive thoughts. Yeah, that's all we can do. 2-1 Spurs, Bergval and Johnson. 3-2 Spurs, Solanke and Richie to get 2. We'll all be doing the pigeon dance tonight. Bobby K is going for 1-1 Spurs to win 5-3 on penalties. Wow, that's very, very precise. Lee, what are you thinking?
I guess it really depends on whether the team turn up and play. So if the team come out and they're going to want to play this game and want to win this game and play it the right way, then for me, I think we can do it. I think it's going to be a difficult game. I think it'll be an entertaining game. But I can see us coming away 3-2 winners. If I'm being really optimistic. But again, this just depends on whether if they come out and play their football. I don't really think the atmosphere will make a lot of difference. I've been to a couple of these places where the atmosphere is great. It's a great spectacle, and in fact, you probably enjoy watching it rather than fear it. To be honest with you, I quite like it. I like all the pyro and all that sort of stuff. I think it's great. So I don't think they'll be too worried about that. I think some of these youngsters are quite fearless. So yeah. So I'm going to go with a 3-2 win providing the team come out and play the way way we should expect to play. So yeah.
Any idea who's going to score those lovely 3 beautiful goals?
Yeah, I think Johnson will get one. I think Solanke will get one, and I think late on in the game, I think Richie may well come in and get the decisive winner.
Go on, the pigeon. I'm liking the 3-2. I'm actually going to do what I do sometimes, and I'm actually going to predict a win. This is outrageous, but I am. I'm going for a 1-2 Spurs win. I'm going for my man Johnson to get another one. God bless him. And I think I'm going to go Tell to get one, just because I really want him to score one. So I'm going Tell and Johnson a 2-1 win. Spurs, Lily White's India is saying 2-1 to Spurs, more with at least an assist. Was Moore even on the bench? I can't even remember.
Yeah, he's on the bench, I think.
Is he?
Yeah, I think he was.
Yeah, he is. He's on the bench. Okay, you
Yeah.
can have that one then. 2-2 Till, Johnson, Larson and Bahoya. Wow, we're getting all the names. A very strong bench. He should use them from minute 60, last 10 to 15 minutes. Yeah, but let's hope if it's not working, he does actually make some changes in good time for it to make a difference. Chris Agenbar's in the house. Big up. Says 939 people watching. If you're enjoying the stream, please hit those likes. Yeah, 170 likes. So we need a few more of those, please. Jimbo, obviously, always have to come to you last because you are the most optimistic Spurs fan that's ever walked the planet. What do you see happening tonight?
Just want to say hello to Chris. I ain't seen him for a while. So hello,
He was
Chris.
He was in our show yesterday, I think. He? Yeah, you just don't pay attention, Jimbo.
Well, it's not if we go out there and play well. We will go out there and play well. These players are going to go out there and they are going to be right up for it. And they're going to show you what this team can do. Right? Everybody said when we was playing City that I was mad because I said we would win. And we went and smashed them. And that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to go and smash them 3-1. 3-1. And we're going to have a Johnson goal. We're going to have a Tell goal. And I'm hoping Kulu will come on and score one.
Do you know what? You have lived this whole season from that one correct score you got against Manchester City.
Doesn't matter. It's going to happen tonight. It's going to be 2. I said Villa. I said we'd beat Villa as well.
Okay, so 2 out of about 40.
Right, and this is going to be the 3rd one. Thank you. We're going to smash them. We're going to smash them quarterfinals of the European Cup. What, you think we're going to go out there and be a load of pussies? Ain't going to happen. This team is going to come out there and take us to the semi-final. Come on, you Spurs.
Oh, they are. Jimbo's spoken. Wake Up says, bless you for being one of the few optimistic fans. The toxic pessimism is exhausted. Look, I think I refuse to let these last few games pass me by without being a little bit positive. Even regardless of deep down in my heart what I think, I'm blacking it out and I'm going for a win tonight. Because as far as I can see, if we lose tonight, that's season over, and I'm not accepting that. Go on, Jimbo. You know me. Let's go. 3-1 Spurs. Madders scores a screamer from 30 yards. Tell and Richarlison. Listen, I'm going to be doing the pigeon all over the place. And I don't really like Richarlison at all. Anyone that watches the channel will know that. But I will be pigeon dancing all over the front room, up and down the street if he scores the winner, without any shadow of a doubt.
Right, this is Harry's first time on the show, right?
Yeah.
Right, Harry, we will forgive you for saying that we're going to lose. So this is your chance to change your mind.
If you want.
Positive. And be positive. Be the 4th one on the panel.
I'd love to be. I've watched Spurs too many times this season, I'm afraid.
You can't do it,
I hope
Jim.
so. I hope you're right.
Spurs have broken Harry. It's official.
I've seen it too many times. They broke me.
They've broken Harry. We can't even get him to lie and say he thinks we're going to win. I absolutely love this. 2-0 Spurs, 2 own goals. I'll take it. I'll take it all day long. I don't care how they go in, as long as they go in. But yeah, quite a bit of positivity in the chat, which we like. 3-1, Richarlison, Sarr and Bergveld to the rescue. 5-0 Frankfurt. We don't like that. Not at all. Solanke game on the hat-trick hero incoming. It can't end here. Come on, Spurs. Keep hope alive, especially considering that mob up the road and now into the semi-finals of the Champions League. We've got to get through this game. I can't cope if we don't. Spurs 3-1s. Had a dream, swell my life, 2-2, Odebert, 3-2, extra time hero. Love it. I'll take that as well, even though, you know, extra time I'll have no nails left. But look, Lee, I know YouTube has been getting to you. Are you still planning on taking a hiatus, or are you hanging around?
No, I'm taking a hiatus from social media pretty much. This is kind of, I've had enough of it. The negativity is kind of getting to me from listening to other people. So I need to step away from all of that. And in terms of your YouTube, your own channel, I kind of felt like I was playing to the crowd a little bit, and maybe not being as honest as I'd want to be because of not wanting to become the next person who's going to get ripped all the time. Yeah. And I'm like, I didn't do it for that. I did it just to say how I felt, you know. So I've decided, no, I'm going to take a break from it. I'll still do a little thing for my friend Chris, but yeah, I'm going to step away until the end of the season and then review without bother after that.
Look, Lee, you'll be missed because we love having you on here, for instance, and your shows. But I get it. I took 2 weeks out, and I needed it, Jimbo. It actually put me into a physical depression. I actually went into a depression because of how negative it was on social media. So I do hear you, but hopefully you won't need to wait till the end of the season, because you'll be coming on here when we're all celebrating lifting the cup. That would be rather nice.
Yeah,
definitely. With a cup win. But yeah, you will be missed, but hopefully you'll be back again when things turn around and get a little bit more cheerful, because it has been a bit doom and gloom of late. I do like this prediction. Dele Alli runs on the pitch and scores 4 in extra time and we win. What a spectacle that would be. Thank you as always, Lee, for coming on. It's always a pleasure. And enjoy your hiatus with your family. Harry, awesome debut, apart from predicting Spurs loss, which has got, you've got one little cross next to your name now.
I do apologise.
What's happening over at Harry Scarfy Talk Spurs? What's going on over there?
Yeah, firstly, thanks so much for having me. Really have enjoyed it. Pleasure to share the screen with you all. So thank you, and big up to the chat. Yeah, you can follow me at Harry Scarf 22. I'm a football content creator and YouTuber across all the socials. Totally agree with what Lee's saying, by the way. There's far too much negativity. I know coming from me after predicting Spurs to lose, but tonight we've got to get behind the team, got to get behind Foster Copley. I know, hypocrite here. But he's, we still chance to save our season, and we can do it. Hopefully I'm wrong. That's why I've gone with us to lose, because I'm usually wrong. But no, I also have my own YouTube channel as well. He's Harry Scarf. It has a Scarfy Spurs podcast. And thanks so much for having me. It's really good. And massive common you Spurs. Let's do this.
Exactly. Harry, you're welcome anytime as well. It's been absolutely brilliant to have you on. We have been trying to get you on, but it's you're such a busy young man. It's like, I have to check my diary now. Busy, and I was starting to get a bit of a complex. I thought you was avoiding us, but thank you for taking the time and coming on. And like I say, if there's if there's any others you want to come on before the end of the season, then feel free and just let me know. Jimbo, should I ask you, or should I just explain what's going on with us?
Yeah, you do. I ain't got a clue. I just follow you like a little lapdog.
Yeah, you heard it here first. Jim actually is my lapdog. Tomorrow we are doing a 12-hour charity stream from 10 a.m. for Mickey Hazard's charity, Legend on the Bench, which is a mental health support and suicide prevention charity. So if you've got a Good Friday and you've got nothing else to do, then just hop on and come and see us. It's not actually going to be a lot of football. It's going to be just chilling out, having a chat, cheering everyone up. As mental health is such an important thing to both myself and Jimbo, and that is why we chose this charity. So we've got that going on tomorrow, and then next week we're on every lunchtime over at Kate and Jimbo. So please make sure you go over and subscribe to myself and to Harry, and you know what, you can subscribe to Lee as well if you like, because he will be back. He'll be like the Terminator, and I know for a fact he'll be back. So do support everybody on the panel, please. And yeah, it has been hard hyping the team up, but you know what, there's a lot more important things than football, and sometimes you just got to put a big fat grin on it and go, yeah, we're going to win this one, and send out positive vibes to the universe.
Do you know what, Kate? You can lose 3 games on a row, right? And then you win the 4th one, and it brings you back up. It's winning.
Yeah.
And tonight
Look
we're
at-
going to be winning, and it's going to bring everybody back into a good mood because we're going to get into the semi-final.
Just everyone hang on to that thought of what happened against Ajax. We looked dead and buried, and then like a phoenix on the flames, Lucas Moura pulled us through. And I've just got a feeling that might happen tonight. I've got a feeling in my waters. If it does, you can all call me a witch. It's official. But Jimbo, I'm going to let you finish the show because you're the one who knows how to get everybody extra pumped up. So I shall let you finish the show.
Don't even think about losing because it ain't going to happen. We're going to be in the semi-final, right? We are going to be the team to beat in this competition. Semi-final, and here we come. 3-1 win. Come on, you Spurs. Come on.